Hi everyone! So today I'm going to show you how I made this very clever fold flat gift box. So this is what it looks like when it's assembled as a box, and this is how it folds flat. So it's perfect to make a bunch of these now for the Christmas season ahead and just store them flat if you don't have much storage to store gift bags or gift boxes already assembled. We will also be decorating this in the second half of this video, so I'll make some decoration to pop on the top of the box there. But it is such a good, clever design. I haven't made one of these in a couple of years now, and I really enjoyed getting back to this. The papers that I'm using today are from the latest Craft Essential magazine box kit. It is by John Next Door. It has gorgeous papers included in the magazine, the embossing folder, the die set, and the stamp set. And I already shared in a previous video, which I will link at the end of this video for you if you haven't seen that yet. I have a brand new box kit to give away to one of you. Check out that video that will be linked at the very end of this video for a chance to win one of those gorgeous boxes. So these boxes are super easy to make. It comes together in no time. I'm starting off with an 8 by 8 inch square blue cardstock, and I'm scoring down at 1.5 inches on all four sides. So it's 8 by 8 scored at 1.5 inches on all four sides. Next, I will take the same blue cardstock and I cut a base to 8 1/8 by 5 inches. On the 8 1/8 of a side, I scored down at 1.5 on either end. Now it will leave me with a 5 1/8 of a section on the inside, which will leave me with enough room to wrap this over my box. This will be the lid. Then I have two pieces measuring 5 inches by 2.5. On the 5-inch side, I'm going to cut just the sliotar off because I will have to be placing it inside the box and I don't want anything to be catching in there. This will all make sense in a minute. And I'm scoring down at 1 inches. I have two pieces of these, one already prepared there. Now I'm going to work a little bit more on the cardstock that we scored first. So this square has 4 little squares in each corner. I'm going to score down diagonally. I find it easiest with a scoring tool that has a metal ball at the end against my ruler, and it just scores it down nicely. I just score it a couple of times to make sure I go through all that cardstock. And now I'm going to fold and burnish all those score lines on the 4 sides. And to do this, I just use my bone folder. But then I come in and just with my fingers, I will pinch in all those 4 score lines that we just created diagonally on each of those squares. It's quite easy to do. It folds in really on itself. So once this is done, I'm going to glue this down. Now I only have to add my glue onto 1/2 of those triangles. So I'm going to do like a mirror image. So either on the top, and now I'm going to fold this all in and making sure it glues down. But be sure not to add any glue to the other half of those triangles. Now you could have done the 2 sides or the 2 ends at once, but I didn't want to confuse you. So now I'm just going to show you again that triangle that is closer to the top now. And the other side, I added a little bit too much. So I'm making sure I take some of that glue away so I don't glue the other half of the triangles down or the other half of that square down. And I'm just making sure I spread out all that glue. And now this is going to be basically the mechanism for the fold flat box. Now in there, I'm just going in with my bone folder and I'm burnishing down that fold line for the triangles. It's hard to show on camera in here, but it makes sense when you're doing it. You're just basically burnishing down that triangle fold. And now this is the piece that we left 1/8 of an inch longer. So now it makes sense. So it wraps around all those layers that are folded up on either end. I'm adding my glue just to one of those 1.5 inch sections, and I'm going to glue it onto my box on where those triangles are glued in. So not on the side, we are going at the back in here, making sure the glue sticks nicely and making sure everything is nice and square. And this is how the box will look like once it's assembled. Now, this is quite optional, this next step, but I don't like that gap in there you see on the side. So this is where these 2 pieces come into play. So I'm going to fold and burnish that score line, and then on the 1-inch side I'm going to round my corners. Again, very optional, I just like the look of it a little bit more that way. So I'm rounding down both of those corners. This little corner punch is from Craft Stash, by the way, and it is such a good one. You can make notches with it and rounded corners, and I just use it all the time now. I will link it in the description box below if you'd like to check that out. So now on the 1.5-inch section, that is what I will be gluing inside the box. So this is why we had to cut away that slitter, so it fits in nicely and comfortably. So I'm adding my glue onto the 1.5-inch section, and because I'm using my color glue too, and this is quite a heavyweight cardstock, this will strengthen up the sides of the box as well. So it is a win-win. And now you can see how that little gap just disappears. It doesn't show anymore. So I think it's very optional, but I like the look much more this way. It looks much more finished. Making sure the glue is spread out perfectly in there, and leave it a minute just to set. Now I'm going to decorate this, and I'm going to take pieces of pattern paper from the box kit. These ones measure 4 3/4 inch squared, and 2 goes on the lid on the outside and the inside, and 1 of those goes on the inside of the box. I have 4 pieces measuring 1 1/4 inch with 4 3/4, and these go all around the outside of the box on the sides and the back and the front. The next step is to work on the closure for my box, and I decided to use magnets, but it's very optional again. You can use Velcro dots, or you can just glue this shut once you're ready to gift this, or you can use ribbons to wrap around your box. I prefer to use magnets, but I wouldn't give this to kids. Okay, so this is gonna go to grown-ups. I have these very, very thin 0.5 millimeter magnets in here, and I'm going to use 4 pieces, so the magnet will go on 2 ends of this. Adding a strip of double-sided tape, then I realized that I added it on the wrong place because I wanted to add it towards the bottom. It's a bit confusing when it's laid out flat like this here. I will show you what I mean. So when I'm closing this, I want the magnets to be towards the bottom in there. So that's why I added an extra strip in there. So I'm removing the backing of my double-sided tape, and I'm going to add the magnet roughly in around the same place, coming in 1 inch maybe from either side, or 3/4 inch. And then I have another piece of 1 1/4 by 4 3/4 inch, and this one has double-sided tape on it. I just feel it's better to add this on top of those magnets, because I can it gives me an instant bond all around those magnets as well. Now I will snap the other magnets on top of those ones. I'm adding a little bit of a liquid glue at the back of them, and now I'm going to pretend to close this box. This way the liquid glue in there will mark the exact place that my magnets should be going on to, just making sure everything is nice and square. So now I can see where the glue left the mark. That's where I will be snapping my magnets into. And I'm going to take another piece of 1 1/4 by 4 3/4 inch paper, again covered in double-sided tape, and I'm going to cover up those magnets. I personally don't like to leave my magnets exposed, but if you want to, you can leave the magnets on top of these as well. And this is the box ready. Just how quick and easy this came together, and it is such a lovely one, really professionally finished. It folds super flat and very easy to store, and it's very easy to snap back into place. Of course, I want to decorate this though. So for my sentiment, I took with Love at Christmas from the stamp set, and I heat embossed it using polished silver embossing powder. And I cut the 2 ovals out using the dies from the die set that came in the kit. I chose to put my sentiment on the inside of the box, but of course you can put it on the top in there. That would look lovely too. However, I like my decorations dimensional, so I created a lovely tag. Just how gorgeous is this? Yes, of course I'm going to show you how I made this. It is so pretty. To make this tag, I'm going to use my trusted tag punch. I use this all the time, but you can use dies if you have in your stash, or you can create your tags just using your scissors or trimmer. So this one is by Woodware, and I've had this in my stash for years and years, and this leaves a lovely scalloped end to it. So there's 3 different widths for grooves, and this one is the widest one that it takes. It's 2.5 inches. And I'm going to punch down on it. You'll see that lovely scalloped end. I'm going to, off camera, I embossed with using the embossing folder, just a white piece of cardstock, which I'm going to cut down to 2.25 inches of width. I will be able to place this inside my tag punch, making sure that there's an equal amount of room left on either side, so it's nice and centered. And then similarly like before, I'm just going to punch down on this one, and it will leave me with a slightly narrower tag now. Now, just to measure it up on my box to see how long I need to have this tag, I know from a previous one, because I already created one, it's a 4.25 inch works fine for this size of box. I lined up the very top of the scallop to 4.25 inches and cut it down to size. And then I lined up the white one, pulled the pencil line, and now I exactly know where to cut it away. Before gluing these two together, I want to ink up the edges of that white one a bit. So I'm taking a bit of a vintage photo with my finger dabber, and I'm just lightly going around all over this tag. And then I check it against the blue if the brown shows up nicely, and I think I'm missing a little bit, just I came back. I like to do it lightly and come back rather than do too much and then I can't remove it. So I'm using my color glue to glue this on top of the blue one. And while it's drying, I'm going to create my embellishments. So I took some of the dies from the die set, the foliage, the poinsettia, and the snowflakes or stamen. I'll be using them as stamens today. A bit of a broken china distress oxiding to add color. And then I taken my distress spritz, and this is the Uncharted Mariner, and just spritzed it down once and let it dry like this. It will give it a lovely speckled pearlescent look. So I've created a couple of these for each flower. Now for the foliage, the holly leaves, I used bundled sage and peeled paint of the Distress Spritz bottle, and it left me with this gorgeous speckled look again. For this foliage, I didn't add any base color. I just used 2 different Distress Spritzes. One of them is the fossilized amber and the other one was the walnut stain. So I used these two to create a lovely speckled look. I let one layer dry before I spritzed the other color on it. And the fossilized amber is the one that I used on the little snowflakey stamen kind of looking die cuts as well. To create my flowers, I took 2 layers of the petals, which I let dry properly before working on them. So you can see how lovely and pearlescent this is. And I just use my flower forming foam and the little tool just to add a little bit of a dimension, a little dot of a glue, and I offset each petal before adding the stamen on the middle as well. This is how I created 3 flowers, one of the larger, 2 of the smaller ones that come in the die set. These are so pretty, really cute flowers. And then I have several of the foliage already prepared in there, and this is time to assemble the tag. So I'm just using my hot glue gun just to arrange really in one bunch. I didn't want to cover up all that lovely detail from the embossing folder on the tag, so I was kind of focusing them onto the one area but making a real nice spread with all those foliage and flowers in there. I think it turns out so pretty. It really is lovely colors. They work together so well because I didn't add strong colors to the foliage. It works together with those papers as well. Now I'm pulling a bit of a ribbon through that hole in there. And then I'm going to take some of this. It's like a burlap ribbon, but I like to cut it along. I did see this on someone's YouTube before. I have absolutely no idea. I can't remember. It was such a long time ago to cut them into little strings as well and use them as twine. It's such a clever idea. So I'm using 2 in here and I'm tying a bow with them. And then I'm going to come in with my scissors just to cut those strings down shorter, both on the ribbon and on the twine as well. Using a bit of white acrylic ink, diluted then with some water, I'm going to add some white splatters to all of this tag. It just adds a lovely snowy feel, which goes so well with the snowflakey theme of the papers on the box. And on this first one, I also added some blue splatters. I can't really pick it up, just with some very faint ones. To finish off the flowers, I'm going to add some flat back white pearls, one in each flower, a larger one in the larger one and the smaller one in the two smaller flowers. And then one last thing that I wanted to add is these lovely little snowflakes. So I picked out the white ones and then the silvery holographic ones, those teeny tiny ones, from a sequin bag, which I have, I think, from Chloe's Creative Cards. And I'm just going to add a few of those here and there. The silvery ones I decided to add. It goes very well with the silver sentiment on the inside of the box because I hit and embossed it with polished silver. I think this just brought them together in the inside and the outside of the box. How gorgeous are these tags? So when I am ready to give these, I'll show you what I will do. We'll add some foam tape at the back of it just for a bit of added dimension, and I'm going to attach it to the top of the box. Of course, you don't have to do that yet. You can pack them away separately, or you don't even have to decorate it with the tag. These tags would make gorgeous gift tags for any gift bags or any presents at all, or would even make lovely card fronts as well. You can leave your box as they are, or you can add just sentiment onto the front instead of the inside of the box. It really is up to you how you choose to decorate it. I think this turned out so lovely, and I will be making more of these in all different sizes, and I will be storing them away for Christmas. They will be all ready to be gifted. I really love how this turned out, and I really hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. I will leave you with some close-ups at the very end of this video. And please do not forget to check out my other video that I will be linking at the very end of this one, because there I have a giveaway for one of these gorgeous craft magazine boxes. It's jam-packed with so many lovely goodies, and there's so much lovely inspiration to get you started inside the magazine as well. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please do not forget to give me the thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you'll get notified anytime I upload new videos. And I will be back very soon with another tutorial. I really hope to see you then.